When you look at the current trajectory of artificial intelligence, or just, the sheer blinding speed of technological advancement right now,
Yeah.
there is this underlying current of dread.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like we watch neural networks process in seconds what used to take lifetimes. We see entire industries upended overnight. And the natural human reaction to that is anxiety.
It is. It's a pervasive feeling, you
Yeah,
know?
like it feels like things are accelerating toward a cliff, like we're standing on the edge of some inevitable, chaotic breakdown of society.
Well, we are processing more data in a single day than our ancestors processed in a lifetime.
Yeah.
And the velocity of that change, it makes it feel like the system is buckling under its own weight. It feels terminal.
It really does. But the source material we are exploring for this deep dive offers a completely different paradigm for what that acceleration actually represents.
And it's a fascinating shift in perspective.
It is. What if that massive technological leap, that feeling of everything speeding up and condensing, isn't the chaotic end of the world at all? What if it's actually a symptom of a highly structured cosmic season change?
That is the core premise we're looking at today. And to understand it, we have to look far beyond computer science or modern sociology.
Right, we're going deep into philosophy today.
Exactly. The text we're analyzing is a transcribed, highly detailed philosophical lecture exploring the foundational concepts of Daesun Jinriho.
Which is a Korean new religious movement, for those who might not know.
Yes, and it provides this fascinating, incredibly intricate framework for the ultimate nature of the universe. It tackles concepts like mujik and taegyuk and attempts to map out the underlying physics of reality itself.
And our goal today is to act as your cosmic translators for this material. A big focus for us is figuring out how to explain the concepts of mujik and taegyuk to a foreigner, someone totally outside of East Asian philosophy.
Right, because translating these ideas to a Western mindset can be tricky. You don't want it to just sound like vague mysticism.
Exactly. We want to strip away the dense academic formatting to get at the underlying mechanics. It's like we are finally getting the admin password to the universe, and we're looking at the source code.
I love that analogy. It really is about understanding the source code.
So we want to understand the why and the how behind these concepts, what they suggest about reality, the origins of the universe, and ultimately what this text argues is humanity's specific, unavoidable role in it.
And to do that, we have to start by identifying what phase this philosophy says the universe is currently in. The lecturer calls this phase Gaebyok.
Gaebyok. And if you study East Asian philosophy, Gaebyok is a heavy term, right?
Oh, very heavy. Historically, it's often translated simply as the creation of the world. But in modern cultural contexts, it's acquired this intense baggage.
Baggage, like terrifying destruction.
Exactly. When people hear Gaebyok, they often associate it with a catastrophic wiping of the slate, apocalyptic earthquakes, massive floods, the violent end of days.
So a hard, destructive reset of the physical world.
That is the popular misconception, yeah. But the source text we're looking at redefines the mechanics of Gaebyok entirely. It defines it as Jipdaesong.
Jipdaesong.
Right, which translates to a great gathering or a grand synthesis of all principles and knowledge.
Okay, synthesis.
To explain the mechanism, the text uses the macro analogy of the seasons. Think about what actually happens energetically when summer turns to autumn.
Okay.
In summer, energy expands outward, right? Leaves grow, vines spread. The system is highly decentralized and focused on outward growth.
Right. Everything is blooming and spreading.
But in autumn, that expansive energy stops. The sap retreats back into the roots. The system pulls inward to consolidate its resources into the fruit or the seed.
Wow. Okay.
And the lecture argues the universe itself operates on this exact same seasonal mechanic, just on a cosmic timescale. And right now, the universe is entering its autumn. It's pulling inward.
I want to ground that in a tangible example because the text makes a fascinating parallel to technology here.
It does, yeah.
Think about the smartphone. A couple of decades ago, human utility and knowledge were radically decentralized. You had a physical camera for photos, a folding map for navigation.
A standalone landline for calls.
Exactly. A Rolodex, a calculator. All these principles were scattered across distinct physical objects. And then through technological advancement, they were all synthesized into one single device.
The physical footprint shrank, but the utility was consolidated.
Right. That is a perfect mechanical demonstration of Jipdaesong. The underlying principles of photography or navigation weren't destroyed. They were synthesized.
And the text extends that exact logic to the rise of artificial intelligence.
This is the part that really blew my mind.
AI is not a random technological anomaly. In this framework, it is the ultimate, inevitable gathering of human intellect.
All the scattered data, the art, the scientific
But
research.
historical records, all of it.
Yeah.
It's all being pulled from a state of decentralized expansion into a single centralized intelligence.
So the anxiety we feel isn't the system breaking down. It's the friction of the system consolidating.
Precisely.
But that raises a structural question for me. If the entire universe, including human consciousness and technology, is retreating to the roots and consolidating, what is it consolidating toward? Like, what's the function of this autumn harvest?
The function is to prepare humanity for a phase the source calls Guanwang.
Guanwang.
Yes, this literally refers to the era of adulthood. In ancient traditions, this was symbolized by the specific coming-of-age ceremony, where a young person first wears a formal hat or a crown.
Okay.
But mechanically, it represents a fundamental shift in responsibility.
How so? Like, what kind of responsibility?
Well, look at the structural role of a child versus an adult. As a child, your energy is entirely self-directed. You're in your summer phase, you grow, you absorb resources, you learn.
Right, you're just taking things in.
Yeah. And you are not structurally responsible for the maintenance of the household. If the roof leaks, it's not your problem to fix.
Fair enough.
But the moment you transition into adulthood, the paradigm inverts. You suddenly assume responsibility for the entire architecture of the house. You have to maintain the structure that sustains you.
Okay, I see where this is going.
The text argues that, on a cosmic scale, humanity has exhausted its childhood. We are entering our Guanwang phase, which means we are now structurally responsible for maintaining the house. And the house is the universe itself.
I mean, I have to push back a little on behalf of the listener here, because I can barely manage my own inbox most days,
I know, it's a lot.
The idea that human beings who constantly war with each other, who struggle to manage basic global supply chains, are suddenly supposed to assume responsibility for the cosmic architecture. That seems wildly disproportionate.
It sounds impossible at first glance.
Right. If we are supposed to manage this house, we would need to understand its fundamental blueprints first.
Which is exactly why this synthesis, this gaebyeok we were just talking about, is happening right now. We are consolidating our knowledge precisely to understand those blueprints. The text draws a direct parallel here between ancient Eastern philosophy and the modern cutting-edge goals of Western physics.
Like the search for the theory of everything.
Exactly that. Right now, the ultimate goal of theoretical physics is the theory of everything. Scientists are trying to synthesize quantum mechanics and general relativity into a single, unified mathematical framework that explains all physical reality.
From quarks to galaxy clusters, we're looking for that singular equation that governs everything.
And that search for singularity is deeply embedded even in Western language. The word universe literally means to turn into one. Universe.
Wow, I never thought about it like that.
Yeah. And the text points out that this modern scientific pursuit is chasing the exact same underlying mechanism as the ancient Eastern maxim of Ilban Mansu.
Ilban Mansu, which means one root branching into 10,000 things.
Yes, with the critical second half of that equation being that those 10,000 things must eventually fold back into the one root.
So physics and Eastern spirituality are essentially describing the exact same mechanical process, just from different vantage points.
Exactly. To manage the universe as adults, we have to trace the 10,000 fragmented things we see around us back to that singular root.
Okay, but if our job is to trace reality back to its root, the text argues we first have to redefine the language we use to describe reality.
Yes, language is key here.
The lecture states that our everyday terminology has completely lost its structural weight. Specifically, it focuses on the words du, meaning the path or the way, and qian, meaning heaven.
The text makes a crucial course correction here. In modern parlance, the word do is highly decentralized. We use it to describe a moral duty, or we attach it to martial arts like Taekwondo.
Or dado, the way of tea.
Right. The lecture acknowledges those uses, but states that the ultimate unfragmented meaning of do is simply heaven. It is the highest source.
Okay.
But to understand that source, the text introduces a concept that completely fractures how we traditionally view reality. It claims there are fundamentally two different heavens.
Yes. This is the part of the framework that really caught my attention. Because when we say heaven or the universe, we immediately think of the physical sky, right?
Naturally.
We think of the cosmos, the stars, the physical expanse we can map with the James Webb telescope. But the text states that this physical heaven is actually mortal.
It is. That is the necessary logical conclusion of this philosophy. The physical heaven, the cosmos we observe, is inextricably bound to the physical earth.
Because they're a pair.
Exactly. Because they are paired in a physical duality, they are subject to the exact same thermodynamic laws as anything else in the material world. They are governed by the cycle of Sangro Bansa.
Birth, aging, sickness, and death.
Yes.
Wait, so you're saying this philosophy argues the physical universe isn't eternal. It literally ages and dies of old age.
Mechanically, yes. And we see this mirrored in modern astrophysics through the concept of entropy. Stars exhaust their fuel, galaxies drift apart, and the physical universe slowly marches toward a state of heat death.
Right, the universe is winding down.
The text notes that this fundamental impermanence is what the Buddha recognized. It's why Buddhist philosophy often arrives at emptiness or the void as the ultimate reality of the physical world.
Because if the physical cosmos is bound by time and decay, it can't be the ultimate root. It cannot be the true source.
Exactly.
Okay, so if the physical universe we exist in has an expiration date, what constitutes the second heaven?
The second heaven is the architecture outside of time. It is the eternal, limitless source that exists beyond the physical duality of heaven and earth.
The thing that survives when the physical universe dies.
Right. It's the substrate that remains when the physical universe decays. In this tradition, that ultimate eternal state is called Muguk.
Yeah, and here is where we get into our main mission, right? Because the lecture places a massive emphasis on Muguk, but it is notoriously difficult to translate.
It really is.
If we want to explain this concept, Muguk and its counterpart, Teguk, to a foreigner or someone completely outside of East Asian philosophy, how do we translate that without it just sounding like vague mysticism? What is the actual mechanic of Muguk?
The most precise way to explain Muguk to a Western mindset is through the physics of potential energy.
Potential energy, okay.
Do not think of Muguk as empty space or a blank canvas.
Right, because a blank canvas implies a surface waiting for an external force to act upon it.
Exactly. Muguk is entirely self-contained. Imagine a tightly coiled, heavy-duty industrial spring locked perfectly in place within an absolute vacuum.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
It's perfectly still, it is entirely silent, but it contains within it the infinite, unreleased kinetic force to shatter a building.
Wow.
Mujik is the state of absolute zero, but zero defined as infinite, perfectly balanced, unmanifested potential energy.
It is the silence that contains everything.
Yeah.
I love that coiled spring analogy because it implies immense underlying power, not just a void.
Right, it's not empty at all.
But if Mujik is perfectly balanced and unreleased, how does it ever become the messy physical universe we are sitting in right now?
By transitioning into Tejek. Mujik is the locked coiled spring. Tejek is the exact fraction of a millisecond where the lock is released. It's Mujik entering its active governing state.
So the potential energy suddenly gains directionality.
Yes. Tejek is the ignition that begins to generate the dual forces of yin and yang, which then cascade downward to construct physical reality.
So, to summarize for the listener, Mugik is the eternal potential, and Tegyuk is the active gear that begins to drive reality.
That's a great way to put it.
And before that cascading energy hardens into the physical world, the text describes an intermediate state called tail, or the Great One.
Tail is crucial for understanding our relationship to the physical world. It is the ultimate, undivided energy state, often referred to as Jigi or Wongi.
Jigi.
Yeah, this is the absolute unified energy that existed just before the universe fractured into the physical duality of yin and yang.
And the text uses a biological mechanism to explain tail. It describes it as a cosmic womb.
It does. And the logic here is profound, because every single element of the physical universe was birthed from this exact same unified energy state. Everything is comprised of the exact same G.
So we share the same cosmic DNA.
Exactly. And that means every physical object, the text specifically uses the example of a piece of a roof tile, is mechanically and energetically related to you.
A piece of a roof tile is my sibling.
Essentially, yes. It creates a closed-loop system of relation. Western science tells us we are made of the same carbon and stardust, but this philosophy takes it from a material relation to an energetic one.
Right.
You are not just built from the same raw materials as the tree outside. You are fundamentally the exact same energetic entity, temporarily expressing itself through different physical parameters.
The ethical implications of that are just staggering. It completely removes the concept of another.
It does.
Like you can't carelessly exploit a forest or pollute a river if you fundamentally understand that the forest and the river are Literal energetic extensions of your own cosmic architecture. It forces a complete shift in how you treat the world around you.
It demands a total reevaluation of your actions, yeah.
But that leads to an obvious contradiction for me. If we all originated from this perfectly unified singular energy of tail, how did we end up in a physical reality defined by division, conflict, and suffering?
That fracture is the structural event the text calls Jopan. This is the explosive moment when that unified energy could no longer be contained and finally split. You have to imagine the sheer kinetic violence required to rip a unified energy state into a dualistic physical reality.
So like a localized Big Bang.
Yes, but driven by philosophical directionality, not just random rapid expansion. The text describes this split with the imagery of a massive cosmic thunderclap, Nozarong.
A thunderclap.
Right. Heavy, dense energy, yin, sank to form the physical earth. Light, expansive energy, yang, rose to form the physical heaven.
But the text argues there was a flaw in this physical manifestation. And this is where the philosophy gets incredibly specific about the mechanics of human emotion.
Yes, this is a really unique aspect of the framework.
It states that the physical universe was actually breaking down because of the accumulation of human resentment, which it calls one hand.
Right, one hand.
How does human resentment structurally damage the universe? I mean, it sounds like a metaphor, but the text treats it as a physical problem.
In this framework, emotion is not a localized internal feeling. Consciousness and emotion generate literal kinetic frequencies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when billions of human beings over thousands of years experience profound suffering and unresolved resentment, this one hand, they are generating a massive, stagnant, heavy frequency.
And that frequency does what?
That frequency physically interacts with the energy grid of the physical heaven and earth. It acts as a drag coefficient.
A drag coefficient, so it slows everything down.
Exactly. The unresolved one hand became so dense that it was literally jamming the cosmic gears, causing the physical universe to grind to a halt.
So human suffering wasn't just a localized tragedy, it was a cosmic structural failure. The engine of reality was seizing up.
It was breaking the machine.
So how does the universe resolve a structural failure of that magnitude?
By directly intervening. The text explains that the situation reached a critical threshold, requiring the supreme divine authority, Sangye, to step in. Yes, Sangye had to descend from the ultimate eternal architecture of Mujik directly down into the failing physical grid to reset the system.
Okay.
But the crucial mechanism here is how Sangye intervened. The supreme authority didn't just appear as an untouchable, ethereal deity in the sky. Sangye incarnated directly into the physical grid by taking on a human form.
Specifically with the human surname Kang, right?
Yes.
That feels like the linchpin of this entire philosophy. The supreme being, becoming human, isn't just a historical anecdote. It fundamentally rewires the cosmic hierarchy.
It initiates an entirely new operating system for reality. By incarnating as a human, Sangye effectively ended the old cosmic order.
The God-centric order.
Right. For all of human history, we existed in a God-centric universe. Humans were structurally positioned below the spiritual realm. Our role was to submissively serve, pray to, and appease the gods.
But Sangye's incarnation marks the transition into a new era, right? The era of Incheon.
Precisely. Incheon is the human-centric era. The structural hierarchy is inverted. In the era of Incheon, the spiritual realm, the deities, and the cosmic forces are repositioned to serve and assist humanity.
Let me make sure I'm grasping the weight of this, because that is radical. The text is arguing that the ultimate cosmic plan is not for humanity to blindly worship the sky anymore. The gods have effectively handed over the keys.
They have.
Because we have reached our cosmic adulthood, our Guanwang phase, it's now our structural responsibility to resolve the resentment, fix the broken energy grid, and manage the physical universe. We are the managers now.
That is the ultimate thesis, yes. The supreme being walked within the physical grid to reorganize the underlying architecture, specifically so that human beings could step into their role as the maintainers of the universe.
Wow.
You can no longer act like a child waiting for a parent to fix the leak in the roof. The cosmic synthesis, that gaebyeok, the gathering of all human intellect and technology that we see accelerating around us today, it's happening precisely to equip humanity with the tools required to manage this reality.
That completely reframes how you look at your own existence. To anyone listening to this deep dive right now, when you feel overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the world or the velocity of artificial intelligence, think about the mechanics of this philosophy.
It's a very grounding perspective.
It really is. You aren't just a tiny, insignificant speck or a random biological accident floating in a cold, decaying universe. You are an adult of the cosmos.
Right.
Your energetic root is the exact same mujik and tail that drives the stars. And you have been born into the specific era of Injon, where it's your structural duty to gather the harvest, heal the underlying resentment, and maintain the universe itself.
It removes the randomness from daily life. Every action you take to reduce friction and resentment in the world is a literal maintenance of the cosmic architecture.
It's a profound responsibility. It really is. But as we wrap up our exploration of this text, there is one final mechanical detail the lecture mentions that we didn't have time to fully deconstruct today.
Ah, yes. When we discussed Japan, that massive explosive splitting of the unified energy into the dual physical reality of heaven and earth, the text notes that it didn't just happen in one chaotic burst.
Right.
It states that the creation of physical reality occurred through 5 very specific, highly structured stages of division.
5 stages. What exactly are the distinct mechanisms of those 5 stages of cosmic creation? And more importantly, how are the kinetic echoes of those 5 specific divisions still driving the structures of our societies, our physics, and our own psychology today?
It's a huge question.
It is, and that is a fascinating thread for you to pull on your own.